What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. As you can see by the title, today is a full day of eating video, keto style. Super excited to walk you through my full day of eating. But if you guys have never hopped on a video with me before, my name is Elena Sanders. I am the founder of the Broke Ambitious Entrepreneur brand and podcast, and I am all about helping other online health and fitness coaches level up their lives and businesses through healing burnout, through gaining clarity, and by attracting an abundance of clients. That's what I'm obsessed with. That's what I'm all about. And this YouTube channel, right, it's kind of the behind the scenes of the Broke Ambitious Entrepreneur brand, right? It's kind of the behind the scenes of the business. And I always talk about health and how your health as an entrepreneur is literally the driving factor behind your business. I really truly believe that if you're not being really intentional with your health, and if you aren't leveling up in that area, your business isn't going to grow as fast as it possibly can, right? Because the fuel that we're putting into our bodies, the exercise that we're doing, the mindset practices that we're doing, this all plays into our creativity, our productivity, our effectiveness as an entrepreneur. So that's why I want to share with you guys, my wellness, my health, my nutrition, the keto lifestyle, as well as other tips for building the business, right? Because at the end of the day, if you are an online coach, if you're an entrepreneur yourself, your business runs from you. You are the biggest asset of your business, right? And so you have to make sure that you are taken care of in order to really thrive. So for this video today, I'm going to take you through my full day of eating. And I wanted to tell you guys kind of like, I've done these keto full day of eatings before and everybody gets super interested. They're the highest views because keto is kind of like this fad thing kind of going on right now. And it's a good thing, right? Because keto is such an amazing tool for me in terms of healing my body, in terms of healing my blood sugar dysregulation, in terms of healing my digestion, healing my adrenal fatigue, all of these things, right? But I have kind of taken a different route than a lot of other people in terms of how I go about keto. So in the beginning, whenever I started my keto journey, it was whenever I was trying to really recover from my eating disorder. And so, it was very different because I had never really ate fat in my diet before, and it was hard for me to get into fat. It was hard for me to really change up the way that I was eating because I had gone from like super obsessive with tracking macros and being just super a slave to food and having horrible blood sugar issues because all I ate was carbs, to trying to do keto, and my body was just like freaking out and was like, I don't know how to handle this, I don't know what to do, right? And so it's been quite a transition. It's been almost a year since I've been doing keto, and I've been absolutely loving it. It has been such a game changer, not only for me, but also like basically my whole family does it now, and even James does it now, my boyfriend James, and like it's truly a different type of lifestyle. And the major key here is for healing your body, for not being a slave to food anymore, for really gaining freedom with food and freedom in your life, not having to live your life based on what you have to eat for the day, or how hangry you are and all of these things, right? There's a lot of freedom that's associated with it. And so now my keto lifestyle looks a little bit different than it did before. And I always say keto lifestyle because it is not a diet, it is a lifestyle, and it won't work for you if you approach it as a diet. It is truly the lifestyle. And so what I realized as I was kind of moving through my keto journey with healing my adrenal fatigue, trying to heal my hormones, healing my digestion, there's all this stuff going on in my body, right? Super dysregulated. And so I realized with healing my digestion that my body wasn't processing fats very well. And so of course keto was feeling, it wasn't working as well as it should have for me. I wasn't getting all the benefits that I possibly could have. And so I started seeing a nutritional therapy practitioner, and what I really had to do was take out a lot of the vegetables that I was eating and put in support for fat digestion, for making sure that I was actually digesting the fats, so that my body wasn't in this like low carb purgatory state where it was just kind of just trying to survive, because it really wasn't getting many carbohydrates to fuel from, but it also wasn't digesting the fats. So my body was just like in starvation mode basically, right? So What I had to do, because I wasn't digesting very well at all, was I had to provide the support for fat digestion, and that looked like supplementation. And then also I had to take out a lot of the vegetables I was eating because my digestion, because I have leaky gut, my body just isn't able to handle vegetables at this point. So that's what I wanted to talk about and kind of let you guys know that at this point in my healing journey, in my keto lifestyle, I can't have a lot of vegetables because my body just doesn't respond well to them at this point in time, right? Not that you can't eat vegetables. I always encourage people to eat vegetables, and you know, you should, because there's nutrients in them, but at this point in time, my body doesn't do a very good job of digesting them. Now in the video, you're gonna see me, I'm eating some vegetables, but again, I'm not eating the amount that I used to. So now that I'm done talking my head off, let's jump into this full day of eating. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background before we jump into, so you can kind of understand why I'm eating the things that I'm eating. So the first thing I always do whenever I wake up is I have a huge glass of water. I make sure I start my day with hydration, and then I jump into my bulletproof coffee. So basically what I do for my bulletproof coffee is my body doesn't handle dairy very well. So what I do for, you know, typically people will do like butter in their coffee and stuff like that. My body doesn't handle dairy very well, so I typically try to avoid it, especially at this time when my digestion isn't so great. And so what I do is I just blend up some coffee with coconut oil. I do the Vital Proteins, collagen peptides, some salt, and cinnamon, right? And I just blend that up. It's my cup of coffee. It provides a great source of fat, and caffeine binds to fat, so you get more sustainable energy. It's one of my favorite things that helps me start out the day with a lot of fat in my system, kind of gets me kicked off for the day. And the reason why I put in the collagen peptides there is because this has been the biggest game changer for my digestion, for healing my gut. Collagen has been my lifesaver. So I highly recommend the collagen peptides. It's been amazing for my digestion, for my joints, and my hair and my nails are growing insanely fast from them that it's almost annoying, right? Because they're growing so insanely fast because of the collagen. So if you guys want to check out the Vital Proteins products, I am affiliated with them because I am so in love with their products. They've been just a lifesaver for me. So if you want to check out those products, the link will be in the description down below. Now, I went to a coffee shop like I normally do in my schedule, and I went to a coffee shop. I just had another cup of coffee. I just had some coconut cream in there that I brought from home. Again, I do this because I can't handle dairy very well, and that's typically what coffee shops have. So I just bring in my own coconut milk. I just get the canned coconut milk, add it in there, and that's kind of what I have for kind of getting me through the first part of my day. I make sure that I'm not just, you know, eating nothing, but I am still getting in a lot of the fat from the bulletproof coffee. The collagen has protein in it, and then as well as the coconut milk that I have, the canned coconut milk, it has fat in there as well. So I'm going throughout my morning, not completely fasted, but just kind of waiting until I'm actually hungry to eat. Then once I got home, I went ahead and had my first meal of the day. So this was just a few eggs and some bacon, and that's pretty much it. I just cook my eggs in the bacon grease. Once the bacon's cooked, you know, you have the grease in there. I cook my eggs in that, and that is what I have for my first meal. So very, very basic. The eggs are organic, pasture raised. The bacon is it's organic, like not, what's the word I'm looking for? The bacon is organic, uncured bacon, so very, very healthy sources of these foods. A few hours later, I was feeling a little bit hungry, and I'm really trying to work on listening to my body and just eating whenever I'm hungry, because of course with my eating disorder habits, it's hard for me a lot of the time to listen to my hunger. So it's something I'm trying to honor, just listening to my body and listening to what it needs. So I decided to go ahead and have a little bit of a snack. I just had a tall glass of green tea, and then I also had some of my homemade chocolate. So I love chocolate so much, and I was buying like the bars of like 90% chocolate and stuff like that, but I just decided to make it from home so that I could add more fat into it and just make sure that I was using my own ingredients to make it as natural as possible. So what I do for this homemade chocolate is I basically just melt some coconut oil, and then I add in some 100% cacao powder, however you say that, and then add in a little bit of stevia. I sprinkle some coconut flakes on top, the unsweetened organic coconut flakes, and I freeze it, and it's ready to go in like 20 minutes, right? So I had a pretty large amount of this for my snack. It was, I wanna say, guys, it was probably around 20-30 grams of fat for that amount of piece. So again, perfect amount of fat, making sure I'm fueling my body appropriately. After that, I did work out, I did some work, I went along my day, and the amazing thing about keto is that whenever you're fat adapted, you can go hours without eating rather than being a slave to food and having to pack snacks with you. And that's my favorite thing about keto, is that I can go throughout the day without being a slave to food, constantly thinking about food, letting food run my life without being hangry, right? Like I still get hungry, right? But I'm not moody or hangry or any of those things, right? It doesn't change my mood or my energy. So that's one of my favorite things about being fat adapted. That's one of the signs that you're fat adapted, that you can go generally 4 or 5 hours between meals without feeling like you're gonna die. So after a few hours, after I had worked out, after I had run some errands and done some work, we finally sat down for some dinner, and this is one of my favorite meals ever. It's been something that James and I have been making like multiple times a week because we're really obsessed with this meal. So basically it's like a Parmesan crusted chicken and zucchini meal. And so I come and showing you throughout the clips kind of how I make it, but basically you are making some chicken thighs, and these are again organic pasture raised chicken or thighs, and you just kind of dip them in the butter. It's Kerrygold grass-fed organic butter, and then I put the crusting on as like grated Parmesan cheese, some coconut flour, and then just some seasonings, right? And so basically it's very, very, very basic, but it's super, super yummy, lots of fat. And then again, you do the same thing with the zucchini in terms of the crusting and the breading, quote unquote breading, and you just stir fry it all up, and that's what we had for our meal. So in the photo, or in the video clip, I just showed you guys that I had a large dose of the zucchini and then one of the chicken thighs. I ended up having another chicken thigh just because I was hungry, right? I hadn't eaten that much throughout the day, so I knew that I needed to get in more fuel, so I added that second chicken thigh on to make sure that I was properly fueled and truly satisfied with what I was eating, that I was eating enough to properly fuel my body. And that was it for what I ate for the day. So again, it's not that much volume, right? But it is quite a bit of fat, right? I'm going throughout the day making sure that I'm getting in enough. And that's one of the things with a keto lifestyle. Sometimes it can be hard to eat enough because you're so satiated and full with the fat that you're eating that sometimes it can actually be hard to get in enough food, right? And it sounds kind of crazy if you aren't fat adapted, but once you kind of get into that state, you'll realize what I mean. So you have to make sure, at least if you're a very active person like I am, even like my boyfriend is, like we both have to make sure, you know, that we're actually eating enough so that we don't lose too much weight, right? It is actually an issue, so that we can continue to put on muscle, so that we can continue to fuel the activities that we do, all of that kind of stuff. So that is the full day of eating. I hope that gave you guys some ideas, some insight into what my keto lifestyle looks like. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you guys have any of your favorite keto recipes, comment them down below, leave the link down in the description box, and I would love to try out any of your yummy recipes that you guys love to eat on a daily basis in your keto lifestyle. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, make sure to let me know. If you guys love these full day of eatings, if you want to see more of them or want me to talk more about keto, how I go about it and how it affects, you know, everything that I do in business and exercise and life, let me know. I would love to talk more about it. Let me know in the description or give this video a thumbs up if that's something you want me to talk more about. So that will be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk with you very, very soon.